South Korea's mandatory military service is a rite of passage, but for some K-pop idols, their military service was tainted by scandals and controversies, some of them so serious that their career didn't survive. Let's start with Steve Yoo, who, in 1997, was a thriving and ambitious star who stole the nation's hearts with his debut song Gawi. Throughout 1997, he received numerous awards and attracted thousands of fans, everything lining up for him to become a successful star not only in Korea but overseas as well, mainly in China and Taiwan. In 2001, Steve suffered a serious back injury, which resulted in surgery. Since his military service was fast approaching, many people wondered if he would be able to fulfill his service regularly or if his service would be altered. The latter would become the truth later on, as Steve was set to enlist as a public service worker in 2002. While fans were initially amazed that Steve decided to enlist despite having dual citizenship, their admiration didn't last long. During his visit to the States in January of 2002, Steve actually obtained U.S. citizenship as a naturalized citizen, thus giving up his South Korean citizenship. This resulted in a nationwide uproar. The South Korean government deemed it an act of desertion, banning Steve from entering South Korea permanently. Steve was deported back to the States, but it didn't stop him from attempting to enter South Korea a couple of times over the years. He was able to enter Korea in 2003 when his father-in-law passed away, and the government granted him permission to attend the funeral. Then, in 2015, Steve applied for a visa at the LA Consulate General under the status of a Korean overseas resident, but to no surprise, his request was denied. While some people might have accepted their fate and their situation at this point, Steve would go on and try to apply for a visa 2 more times in the year since 2015. The last time was in September of 2024, but the Korean consulate in LA once again denied his request. It was also announced that Steve's legal team is planning on filing a lawsuit to challenge the consulate's decision, claiming the visa denial is illegal and a violation of his human rights. Despite Steve expressing his remorse and regret over his actions that happened over 20 years ago, the government's and the public's opinion hasn't changed one bit. They are convinced that Steve has nothing to do in South Korea after his military betrayal, making his return to his home country seem like a faraway dream. Big Bang T.O.P's appearance in the new season of the globally loved show Squid Game left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths for many reasons. The main one was his 2017 scandal, which seriously affected his military sentence and the public's opinion of him. For some context, in February of 2017, he began his mandatory military service as a conscripted police officer, and he was set to be discharged in November of 2018. A few months later, in June of 2017, T.O.P was exposed and charged for smoking an illegal substance by the Seoul Metropolitan Police. He was accused of smoking said substance at his home in Seoul on 4 different occasions, along with a female trainee. The scandal caused a public uproar, and at that time, T.O.P faced intense scrutiny for his actions. After it was announced that he would be prosecuted without detention, he was transferred to a different police division and was suspended from his police duty while he awaited the verdict on his case. A few days after the controversy broke out, T.O.P was found unconscious in the police quarters due to a suspected overdose of anti-anxiety medication. He was then rushed to the hospital where he spent a few days unconscious, but thankfully was able to make a full recovery. T.O.P finished his mandatory service as a public service worker after he pleaded guilty and received 2 years of probation. His discharge date was moved to July of 2019, and for a long time, the controversy was too painful for T.O.P to talk about. In an interview with Prestige Hong Kong in 2022, he described the incident as the worst moment of his life and how badly it affected his mental health. He also briefly commented on his overdose, adding that he tried to take his own life, adding he realized how badly he hurt his fans and his family, and instead of giving them good memories, he gave them ones full of pain. In the same interview, T.O.P shared that he was extremely close to giving up on his career and thought about leaving the entertainment industry, but thankfully managed to overcome those struggles because of his love for music and songwriting. MC Mong was once largely loved by the entire nation due to his fun and charismatic personality that always ensured everyone was going to have a good time. He also released dozens of catchy songs that were so many people's go-tos when they wanted to put themselves into a good mood. His songs were so beloved that in the early 2000s, he was all over the music charts where he would stay at the top for weeks at a time. At that point, it seemed like there wasn't a person who didn't enjoy MC Mong. At the height of his career, MC Mong was set to begin his mandatory military service, but the public's opinion of him completely switched from best to worst when he was exposed for allegedly avoiding his enlistment. In 2010, MC Mong faced accusations that he had paid off dentists to remove his perfectly healthy teeth so he could qualify for military service exemption. It was reported that MC Mong had a total of 12 teeth extracted, but that they were all in such a bad condition. MC Mong denied the allegations of paying off his dentist since the beginning, and one of them came forward and confirmed that since the rapper didn't take good care of his teeth, most of them needed either extensive care or removal. The dentist also claimed that, unlike the reports, he never received any money from MC Mong for the tooth extractions, and the latter never personally suggested his teeth be extracted. In 2011, MC Mong was cleared of allegedly having his healthy teeth extracted, but he was still sentenced to a suspended jail term of 6 months, probation for 1 year, and 120 hours of community service for deliberately delaying his enlistment on false grounds. Over the years, MC Mong never spoke once about the controversy. Then, in 2016, he responded to a comment in a YouTube video for Channel 1 The K saying that the army offered MC Mong to postpone his military service, but he refused the offer. He claimed it was the most absurd thing he ever heard and that there was no way for him to serve in the military since he was way over the age limit. Another comment said that MC Mong suffered a hereditary teeth disease at the time of his military draft, which resulted in his teeth being in bad condition. The commenter actually alleged that his dental health was so poor it qualified as a physical disability. MC Mong agreed with the comment, but because he found trying to explain himself pitiful, he didn't elaborate further. Ultimately, he was able to bounce back into the entertainment industry, but his success was never the same. While Winner's Mino's scandal is still under police investigation, the stakes are higher than ever, with fans and netizens wondering how this is going to impact his career and future. Mino has been facing accusations and claims that he's falsified his attendance records while serving his military enlistment. This information emerged just a couple of days before his discharge on December 23rd of 2024, when Dispatch released damning reports that Mino was often absent from his workplace, failing to sign in regularly. He was set to complete his duties at a public facility in Mapo in Seoul, where he was moved by one of his supervisors. Instead of completing his tasks, he would allegedly leave to smoke or disappear entirely without notice at times. Furthermore, Mino's relationship with his supervisor seemed to be pretty suspicious. While other employees claimed that they never saw Mino at work, Mino's supervisor, nicknamed Manager L, testified that Mino would come in regularly and was always at work except when he was taking annual or sick leave. According to Dispatch, it seemed that Manager L was trying to hide Mino's poor performance at work, and when asked to view CCTV footage, Manager L denied Dispatch's request, claiming it was personal information. The Military Manpower Administration began an official investigation on December 17th, and they've been looking into the claims that Mino's attendance forms were intentionally tampered with. On December 26th, Mino was officially booked as a suspect of violating the Military Service Act by the Mapo police. If Mino is found guilty, he could face the possibility of re-enlistment or having his discharge reversed. Whatever the outcome of this situation is, Mino's return to the entertainment industry is going to be anything but smooth. In January of 2023, rumors about a famous idol trying to reduce his military service using illegal services began floating online. It wasn't long until a former member of the boy group VIX Ravi was exposed to be said idol. According to numerous reports, Ravi allegedly used the services of a broker who used illegal methods to move him from active duty service to public service instead. The broker, nicknamed Mr. Goo, was a former military official who used methods such as partnering with a neurologist to diagnose individuals with epilepsy to help them either get exempted from military service or have their service reduced. It was reported that one of those methods cost around $80,000 and that around 70 individuals received assistance from Mr. Goo. Through numerous phone records and a phone forensic analysis, it was revealed that Ravi sought the help of Mr. Goo and, as instructed, pretended to faint in order to receive a medical examination at the hospital. Before his military enlistment, he submitted a certificate to prove that he was indeed suffering from epilepsy, and thanks to his falsified diagnosis, he was able to receive an alternative service. At the time of Ravi's controversy, another popular Korean artist, Nafla, was exposed for his alleged involvement with illegal military brokers. He was allegedly aided by the same broker as Ravi, Mr. Goo. Nafla was suspected of trying to get out of his enlistment by applying for divided service, which allows individuals to pause their military service and resume it again after some time. Allegedly, Nafla stated depression treatments as the reason why he was unfit to serve. On top of that, he allegedly postponed his enlistment for a total of 18 months between 2021 and 2022 on 7 different occasions. He also filed 2 applications for non-compliance with service, but apparently he was not declared unfit for service. In April of 2023, the Seoul Southern District Court held trials for both Ravi and Nafla on charges of violating the Military Service Act. The prosecutors asked the court to sentence Ravi to 2 years and Nafla to 2 years and 6 months in prison. On October 2nd, 2024, Nafla's sentence was changed to 1 year year and 2 months in prison with a 2-year suspension. In the end, Ravi was sentenced to 2 years on probation and 120 hours of community service. It's safe to say that even though they tried to make their lives easier, the public's uproar caused by their actions is going to make their return anything but easy.